So, Fran, how long have you been a resident of Byron Bay for?
8 years.
8 years? Okay. And what made you move there in the first place?
I'd come back from overseas actually, and my parents had moved to the Byron Shire, and like a lot of young people that go overseas, came back with no money. So that's 2006. So on and off, I've been living in the Byron Shire since 2006.
Okay, cool. And what do you do there?
I'm a primary school teacher.
Okay. So, how do you find living there in such a busy tourist town?
Well, luckily now I'm half an hour outside of Byron, still within the Byron Shire, but for the time that I lived right in town for about 8 years, I lived quite close to town. I didn't really find it too touristy unless it was summer, like December, January. You'd really want to avoid town. It was just too much. And now living outside of Byron Bay and going in the car, because before I used to ride my bike, that was no drama, but with the parking and with the congestion, just getting into town in those summer months, it's full on, and yeah, it makes me avoid going in there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And how, maybe not for yourself, given that you now live out of Byron, but your friends and family that still live there, do they have to participate in the paid parking at all, or do they just avoid that by walking and riding their bike?
I think most people that live close to town ride their bikes in or walk, but if you do have a Byron Bay address, you can get a parking permit through the council for $50 a year, so you don't have to pay for any of the parking, just the one-off $50 a year.
Right, and then you can park in any of the zones.
Park in any of the zones, but you still do need to adhere to the hour limit. So if it says 4 hours, you can only stay 4 hours.
Okay, sure. And do you think that the introduction of paying for parking is something that has helped with the tourists? Has it made a change? Does it deter more tourists?
I don't think so. I think it just irritates everybody.
Yeah.
And you would think with such a lot of revenue coming into the council now with paid parking, you would see something with that money. You would see an improvement in the roads. I mean, you'll see everywhere throughout the Shire big signage saying fixing Byron's roads, because you know when you drive around here there are so many potholes, really bad roads. You would think since the introduction of paid parking, which was this time last year, it was the school holidays last year that it came in,
Right.
within a year, that you should have been able to see some improvement by now. With all the talk of the bypass, nothing happening with the roads, nothing really happening, and now the council wants to put rates up for locals.
Right.
You know, so that's a big problem for local residents now.
Yeah, and so what's the council's reason to the residents for wanting to put rates up? Is it to fix the infrastructure, like the potholes?
Yeah,
and
the bypass is it's going to be a big expense.
Yeah.
So.
And what's the theory behind the bypass? Is it to stop people travelling through the Byron centre of town when they're going past Byron?
Yeah, exactly right. So it's going to, their plan at the moment, it's going to cut, do you know where the Rails is, the pub, the Rails?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the street, Butler Street behind there where the markets are, you go down there and it's going to cut basically straight through behind where the Rails is.
Okay.
So you're only going to cut off that small section of town.
Yeah.
And that's not really a problem solver for the people that live in Suffolk Park or on the other side of town. It would make a whole lot more sense to cut through the farmland, you know, before town, really.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Because I guess if they're coming that close to town and just missing out on one street, all the
It's not
local
gonna make-
business owners are not going to be happy that they're avoiding coming to their street, potentially buying things.
Yeah.
And it's really not a significant change in route for people.
Exactly right. I just picture with that there's going to be congestion this way and then there's going to be congestion that way as well. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's going to go through with the council? I mean, reading the local Echo News, there's a lot of letters coming in disputing the bypass and disputing the rate increase.
Yeah, well, they've been talking about building that bypass for 30 years.
Right.
So I don't see anything happening anytime soon. And then a lot of people are really against where they're actually planning on building it. There's a survey for rate holders at the moment. You can sign in and just say what you want the rate increase money to go towards. So
Right.
yeah, they can go on and do that.
And select their priorities for it.
Yeah, exactly right.
And do you think Byron's about to burst?
I don't think it's about to burst, but I think that a lot of locals feel that it's really at its tipping point, and it's just not the same as what it used to be. More touristy, more built up, constant development. It's a lot of older, long-time locals have felt like it's lost a bit of its charm. And a lot of locals are now moving out of the town, moving to the surrounding areas of Brunswick Heads, Ocean Shore, South Gold, and all of these places that are a little less undiscovered, to get out of that hustle and bustle, especially when they feel like the council's not really doing enough to manage the influx of tourists.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Yep. But you think it's not going to affect tourists? They're just going to keep coming?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you talk to people, when you travel, when you mention Byron Bay, it seems like a lot of people genuinely love Byron Bay, and I think that tourists are always going to come here. I think there's no other place like it. It's very unique.
Yeah, great. Thanks for your time, Fran.
No worries. You can cut that out.
So far, so good.
You can cut that out.
Okay, so, Fran, thank you for meeting with me today. How long have you been a resident of... This is take one. I